It's impossible, dude.
I'm trying to think if I ever picked up a girl without a drop of alcohol in me.
You can't. The booze is the booze. You have to say it like that every time. The booze, it gives you the confidence to be Mr. Hey, when we go back to my place. And it's the lure. It's the lure to get a girl back to your place. You go up to her, you're hanging out, bar closes, you go, I got drinks. Why don't we go back to my place and have a drink? And she goes, okay. You can't do that sober. You can't.
It's
be
impossible.
Sitting in a coffee shop next to a girl.
You need it to get your courage up, and she needs it so she won't feel like a.
Gonna go up to some girl at Starbucks. Hey, I got coffee.
Well, you know what,
at
Joe?
My house.
That is the ultimate level.
That's the game.
If you can actually do it. So, have any of you guys ever like seriously just like seduced a girl, like just swept her off her feet?
Yeah, like a couple times, but it's great when it happens.
What did you do that just swept a girl off her feet, Joe?
Why do you say it like that?
Because I just don't find you charming. I just don't picture any woman picturing you riding on a white horse.
Yeah, Bill, you smooth operator, you.
I've never done it.
You have too. You absolutely have. There was one time in your life.
I have never been complete. First of all, every girlfriend I've ever gotten, I've gotten when I've been hammered. It's either been that, or they saw me in like perform in an acting class. I had a tap dance or something. I have never just walked up to somebody.
You told me the story of how your current girlfriend, of how you executed the first hookup with her, and it was very smooth. It was
smooth. It was definitely smooth.
Well,
but no. I'm saying like swept a girl off her feet, like a period piece, Joe. The old fucking days, the way they used to do it. You throw a couple pebbles at her window and you read her poetry.
One time, this girl that I dated in college, who became my girlfriend for a little while, the first time she came to my apartment, like our first date, because in college that's a date. We were on the couch, and I was in a play with her, and I was really funny in the play because I had like the funny part or whatever, and I had really been charming her for a long time. So when we finally got to my house, we were on the couch making out, and she stopped. And she was like this. She was like smiling and like
that's creepy.
Her shoulder. And I was like, "What?" I go, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "I'm swooning."
Is there anything fucking worse than that?
Well, but I swept
any
her up,
sort of
I
like
guess.
Emotion, either complete lack of it or too much of it, and I just want to leave the room.
I liked it when she said it. It was nice.
Oh, that girl I was telling you about that one time. I was trying to have phone sex with this girl. I'm like, what are you doing? You laying in your bed? She's like, yeah. I was just like, I literally just put the phone down on my lap like, oh, God.
I was having phone sex with a girl once, and I go,
yeah.
She goes, what do you want to do to me? And I go, you want it in your ass? You want me to put it in your ass? And she goes, well, do you want the honest answer or the phone sex answer? I was like, can you just say yes, stupid? You're across the country. It's never going to fucking happen. Fucking idiot.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck what I asked her. I would break up with her right then.
You told a story once on the air, and it makes me laugh every time I think about it, where you said you were dating some girl, and she invited you over, and she was trying to be like sexy for you, so she opened the door and she was wearing like, and you were into like, she thought you were into jazz, like weird acid jazz.
Did I tell that on this show though? I don't know. I don't want to repeat myself.
I don't know if I think it was actually, I think it was O&A you told it on, but dude, I get the visual from that story where she opens the
girl in the towel,
yeah, and she was wearing like she wanted to be sexy, so you said that she had shoes on, but she was wearing like terrible black flats.
It was brutal. It was brutal. I was dating this girl. All right, I gotta tell the story now for first-time listeners. Everybody else, take a bathroom break. I basically, I was banging this broad over there, right? I was hooking up with this girl, and it was great, man. We were having a good time or whatever. So she basically had this is how I met this girl. It was a great angry fuck. The first time I met her I was calling up to find out what my lodging was going to be at this college gig, and she was just being a jerk about it. She ended up sticking me in a hostel, which I had no idea what that was, and I showed up, and it was like me and some fucking Arabian sword swallower in like these bunk beds, right? So I was fucking pissed, right? And we already had we kind of had like this fuck you without saying it on the phone. So when she kind of had this attitude with me when I first showed up, so she booked me and this other comic who was missing part of his ear.
Ooh.
That's what and this really, I don't know why, dude. What, was I going to ask him? That's exactly what I should have
What
said.
happened to your
I should have
ear?
literally pointed at his ear going, ooh, why? No, I don't know. He's missing part of his ear. So I was like, wow, that's weird. You know, so he had to have like really like 70s length hair, right? So he ends up going up on stage, right? She's all proud of herself. That pissed me off. She booked 2 comedians, right? So I could have taken half that fucking money and actually had a decent place to stay. Long story short, the fucking dude with the fucked up ear goes up and has a fucked up set. He's bombing. And immediately she has this panicked look on her face, looking at me like, now I got to come in and save the day. So of course I went up there and I had to follow this fucking guy who stunk. I went up and I killed. So immediately she wants to fucking bang me, but she couldn't. Because we're in Chicago, blah, blah, blah. So we ended up, why the fuck did I go? I went back like 200 pages in the story. Let me get to the point here. So,
All right.
So I'm banging this broad.
Wait, why couldn't you fuck her that night?
Oh, her fucking niece showed up and I had a bunk bed and she had no place to go. It was terrible. And you could just feel the vibe.
So then when did you end up fucking her?
She ended up calling me. She called my stupid college agent who gave her my home phone number. She's like, we're definitely going out. We're definitely partying.
Oh, she came to New York?
Yeah, she like
Okay.
moved here, right? So she was working at one of these universities here. And she was like in charge of the dorm. Like she checked in on all the kids. So I guess one of the things was you couldn't have any sort of, couldn't have any candles. There were certain things that you couldn't have in your dorm room. Any sort of paraphernalia. If you did, you got in trouble. So she wanted to role play sex. She wanted me to be that guy, come over to inspect her room, to make sure she didn't have any of the stuff there that she shouldn't have had. And her whole thing was she wanted to come to the door in nothing but a towel and high heel shoes. And of course I was going to go in there, find shit that she wasn't supposed to have, and then she would of course have to be disciplined.
And
right?
like you're showing up and going right into this. It's not like you guys were hanging out.
No. We'd already been going out for a while. I completely fucked up the story by telling other bullshit, right?
Okay.
So anyways, so basically by this point we're like three months into the fucking relationship. Right, I've tried to get this thing going, and it's not going good. Like, she said she was into jazz, so I bought her, like, this John Coltrane CD. I tried to be a good guy, but we're basically, we get into this fight on the phone, and I'm going over there, and it's like, I'm thinking the whole way right over, like, I gotta break up this girl. What the fuck am I even doing with this shit, right? I come up to the door, I knock on the door, he opens the door, and I'm already have this big breakup fight. She opens the door, and she's standing there in nothing but this towel, okay, and these high heel shoes, but they weren't sexy shoes. They were like this sensible shoe and literally had like 1/8 of an inch fucking, you know those shoes you wear so you don't have back problems as a chick?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what she's wearing. And in the background, she had put the CD on, the jazz CD that I got her. This is this big romantic moment. And I bought her this John Coltrane CD. I don't know anything. So it's like this jazz that's like, so it's playing that. And she's standing there. She looked fucking ridiculous. And I was going to burst out laughing. But I knew if I laughed at her in that moment, you know, that I was going to ruin her for the next guy. She was going to be like, the next time the guy tried to touch her, she'd be fucking in the fetal position, drawn with like a purple crayon or something.
Right.
So what I did was basically I had to play it off like she had like I was so surprised.
Right.
Because dude, my dick was literally slumped over on my fucking leg, like whatever, you're on your own. So I had to act like I was so overwhelmed. And the first thing I did when I got in there was I got the fucking CD off. I shut that off. And then I was sitting there and she was all proud of herself. Like she had totally like seduced me. And she was sitting there with her fucking legs crossed. Do you know when they swirl their foot around? And I'm looking at that
was the toe
stupid,
was the shoe
and she with the fucking shoe on.
Was it hanging off or was it
No, it was still on. It was snug and it was on, and she was all proud of herself like she was this sexual vixen. And like I wanted to smother her with the fucking towel. Somehow I got the shoes off, and then I had to basically splice together every horrific porn scene I had ever seen I just bent her over and I did it like a job. I literally got out of there.
Oh, there's nothing worse than a woman.
Can somebody throw something at me for how long that fucking story was? I can't believe you didn't
enjoyed it.
Oh, you did? Dude, you didn't even give me any sort of active listening.
I was listening.
I was getting paranoid that I was
enjoyed the
bombing
fucking
halfway
thing.
through. Well, I'm a defensive guy. Help me out here.
There's nothing worse than a woman who acts sexy and is very satisfied with how, like when she's got that look like, oh, I'm being sexy right now. You know I am. It's it's so forced. That's like a comic going, hey man, I'm dangerous. I'm edgy. You know what I mean? It's the same, just skin crawl.
People can't handle.
Oh, when a girl tries to make a sexy face in bed, when she's like, you know, like, fucking get off of me, get away from me. If it's not organic, it's just such a fucking turnoff. That's why I don't like the role playing stuff. I never was interested in that because it's not organic in any way, you know?
Dude, you know, all it is it's just talking dirty, like, you know what, it's just like a real porno. You know, like when you rent a porn, they're like, hot sexy nurses, and you put it on, and for half a second they're dressed as nurses, then they're just another naked girl on a couch.
Yeah.
And it looks like every other porno. That's all it is.
I love those ones where it'll be like, teens, like 18, 19-year-old girls, and then they dress up as like they're younger, and that they don't know what they're doing, and they'll have them in like pigtails and little dresses and shit, and then like, they'll do like the whole scenario where the guy comes in and he's like, where's your mom? She's out, and like she's acting like she's a kid or something, and he's like, don't tell her we did this, but why don't you just lick it for a minute, and the second she puts it in her mouth, she's like,
Yeah.
like, can you fucking act like you don't know how to suck?
Yeah, you gotta say cut. Yeah, you're breaking character. Went from teenager to 36-year-old divorcee.
Oh my God.